After a really warm Thursday, we're going to be unsettled today with some scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'm 13 News meteorologist Matt Standridge. We thank you for joining us. We got rain chances all day long. It's not going to rain all day, but at least an on and off chance through the morning all the way through the afternoon and into the evening. Although we do think the highest chance of rain, where we have probably the most widespread coverage in our scattered showers and thunderstorms and downpours in the afternoon hours from about lunchtime all the way through about 6, 7 o'clock. After about 7, we should really start to kind of wrap things up and rain showers pushing into eastern Indiana and then getting into Ohio. And then we'll be done. We'll be drier throughout the weekend. But there'll be some good splash and dashes. Remember, for your Thursday, we had a lot of sun. We had 80s. It was the warmest day so far of the year. And now we're using that heat and humidity to create some of these showers and downpours. Now, we had a couple of those downpours yesterday. And I think it's kind of a good sign of where things are going to come. Kind of help us clear the forecast a little bit. Here's what I mean. Yesterday, when we had a couple of these downpours, they moved very slowly. And when a storm moves very slowly, it can dump a lot of water in one spot really quickly. And so we had a couple flash flood warnings. I wouldn't be surprised if we got 1 or 2 of those today too, in some of the bigger downpours. Doesn't mean it's going to pour every time it rains. A lot of times it will just get some scattered showers, just kind of a rainy day at times. And then you get a break. Then you may get a couple sun breaks. And then you may get a few thunderstorms later into the afternoon. If you're seeing more sun breaks out there, there could be a chance we destabilize the atmosphere and we start to get a couple more pop-ups. But generally in the afternoon and evening, that is our best chance. I want to show you some of the dew points we had this morning. Been a while since we had some dew points in the 60s. On some of these storm days, we briefly got there, but there's not a lot of wind. We're just kind of sitting there. And a little bit of this light humidity, kind of just a little hug the air gives you as you're waking up and headed out the door and all the way through the afternoon. But once you hit that 60-degree mark for that dew point, that's when you've got better chances for more pop-up storms. And we started to get some of those yesterday. So here's what we're thinking. Shower chance all day. Can't rule it out, especially during the daylight hours. But then from 10 to 7 p.m., that's when we're thinking there's going to be the highest chance for more of these thunderstorms. Not everyone's going to get a thunderstorm, but we'll have some rolling thunder and a couple lightning strikes. There's a good chance that some of us have a lightning delay at some point this afternoon and evening. It's a really busy time of the year, and we're going to get to the forecast for all of our games and practices and events. But watch out for some thunder out there. Make sure when you hear thunder outside, when you hear thunder roar, make sure you go indoors. Also have the umbrella rain jacket ready to go. It may not be raining consistently all day long, but we'll have those on and off chances. So just kind of have those things on standby. Let's walk through your rain zones for today. We're in the morning. Best chances of rain have been to the south and west, although throughout the morning we had a couple pop-ups there north and east of Indianapolis. So still in that 20%. They were super small and very hit or miss, but everyone's got a chance for rain throughout the day. This afternoon, though, look at the rain zones. Just kind of explode everywhere. An 80+% chance for rain. That doesn't mean Newcastle and Martinsville are going to get rain all day throughout the afternoon, but at least some on and off chances are likely, and everyone's got a decent chance. There's really not kind of an area that favors a higher or a lower chance. Everyone in central Indiana's got a chance. Now, once we get to the evening, that's when things start to change just a little bit. We'll start to get some drier air in from the north and west as a cold front pushes on through, and that should slowly dry us out from west to east, I think, throughout the day. But best chances of rain will be in eastern Indiana for this evening. Still good 60% chance. And when we're talking about these chances, think about it this way. In this darker green color, 80% chance that you're getting wet throughout the evening, at times at least, in Centerville, Richmond, Rushville, to Newcastle and Muncie. There's a 20% chance you don't. So we think there's going to be small areas that kind of have breaks in between the rain. And you might get one of those where you don't get a lot of rain throughout the day, but you see some clouds, you see some thunderheads, you just kind of see a soupy atmosphere. And I think soupy is a good way to describe it. It's going to feel kind of humid out there with pop-up showers and thunderstorms. You know how when you go to Florida, nice start in the morning a lot of times, and then once you warm up in the afternoon, you get these pop-ups to kind of flare up. I think we'll have kind of a taste of some of that type of weather today. Very unsettled, kind of unpredictable on exactly where each cell tries to pop up, but we'll track them as they are popping up, and we'll kind of let you know where they're going. But throughout the afternoon, just be aware. A lot of our practices, coaches are keeping a close eye on the forecast because we'll have some scattered showers. And for many of our sports, we can play in the rain. Not ideal, but we can play in the rain. The problem is once you get the lightning, and I think we'll have some lightning strikes throughout the day. Doesn't mean it's going to just completely lightning all evening long, but there'll be a couple rumbles of thunder out there. So just be prepared that there could be a lightning delay. Make sure your athletes have a place to go in case there is some thunder and lightning. Maybe there's a game tonight, baseball game, softball game. Make sure, parents, that you may have to get to the car for a second if you start hearing some lightning and hearing some thunder and seeing some lightning. So we'll be watching out for that. All right, so let's walk through Future Track 13. Pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Now remember, when you're watching this, don't necessarily memorize, okay, there is a massive downpour just north and west of Danville at 11 o'clock. You see the time right there. That's not exactly what the point of this is. The point, what I'm trying to show you, is kind of the coverage and the evolution of the rain and storms throughout the day. So we think by the late morning and early afternoon, we'll start to get more widespread showers, but in some of these heavier rain bands, there will be some downpours and there will be some rumbles of thunder and lightning. And we may kind of see a trend to the south and to the west first. But as we push into the afternoon, the heart of the storm system starts to get a little bit closer, and we may see more of those downpours kind of grow throughout the afternoon hours. And so watch out for some of those. Here's 3 o'clock. So we're trying to get out of school. Final bell rings. We got practices and games to get to. A little bit active out there. But then also notice, we do think there's going to be breaks in between these. It's not just one solid rain shield. I think there'll be little kind of spaces in between. So very hit or miss and scattered. Unsettled is a good way to kind of describe it. Then we get to 6 o'clock. If you start to notice, there's kind of a low pressure sitting right over Indiana. I kind of see this backwards C shape in the coverage. We think that by about 6, a lot of this starts to exit, but we'll still have some of these pop-up showers, even on the backside, and a few downpours. As some cold air comes in upstairs, that continues to help form a few pop-ups. But the good news is that we're not expecting severe weather. This is not a severe weather really setup. You've got heat, you've got humidity, you've got a front. The problem is you don't have any upper level winds, and that's a big driver for severe weather. You need a lot of upper level winds. This is going to get into meteorology for a second, but I think it's kind of interesting. When you have a lot of upper level winds, it kind of helps make the thunderstorms more efficient. You got areas with updrafts, you got downdrafts. You need them to stay separate for a healthy storm. And strong winds kind of help blow them apart, keep them separate. When there's not a lot of upper level winds, they start to collide. And when you have updrafts and downdrafts colliding, it just messes everything up. You get waterlogged, and you tend to not really produce much severe weather. You can get a lot of heavy rain and lightning and maybe some small hail and some gusty winds here. Kind of those garden variety thunderstorms that we expect in the summer. I think that's kind of the case that we're in. Not really expecting severe weather, but just some couple pop-ups throughout the day. So we'll be watching that. Later this evening, though, and overnight tonight, I think we'll start to kind of clear out. We'll get some cooler air starting to move in, too. Look at these low 50s, 10 o'clock. Still holding on to 60s, we think, in Indianapolis. Rain wrapping up around Abington and Richmond, and there towards Winchester and Fountain City. But then after that, we may have some lingering clouds throughout the overnight hours, but I think we're done with the rain. And then it's going to get kind of chilly. All right. How much rain are we going to get? We get that question a lot, and we understand it's important. The problem is it's such a mess today because it really just depends on where the biggest downpours are. For example, on Thursday, we had about 1 inch to 2 inches in parts of Rush County, but not everyone in Rush County got rain. Weird, huh? Just cells that were just sitting there. I think there'll be a little bit more movement to the cells today, but not much. And so it really kind of depends. I think there's a good baseline of 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch for many of us. But there'll be a few of us that get 1/2 inch. There could be some of us that get a full inch of rain if you get one of those bigger cells. But we're wrapping things up by about 10 o'clock, and cooler, drier air is coming in for the weekend. Check out some of these temperatures. This is for your late Friday night and early Saturday morning. When you're waking up with Lindsay, she'll show you some of these temperatures. It's going to be a lot different outside. First of all, we're pushing the humidity out, and then we're dropping our temperatures. So yeah, you see 40s, Matt, that's not a big deal, right? I can handle that. We've had 40s. Yeah, we have. But it's the wind on the backside that'll kind of get you a little bit more. We haven't had a wind chill in the 30s in a couple weeks, and that's where I think we're headed. It could feel like it's 33, 34 across the Indy area. It could feel like it's in the low 30s. They're 31 or 32 around Purdue and Ball State, maybe feeling like it's 36 or 37 closer to the IU campus. So it will feel chilly on your Saturday morning. The rest of the weekend looks fine. We'll be in the 60s. If you're looking forward to some of more spring, some of the cooler weather, I think you'll like it because we had some 80s this past week, so it's been warm. But if you want a taste of some more reasonable weather, this weekend's your weekend. Just got to get the clouds out first. I think we'll do it. If you're waiting for some more heat, we also have that in the forecast too. I'll show you that in the 7-day. For next week, after we get out of the 60s and sun this weekend, we've got 80s by Monday again, and possibly more 80s on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, there is another storm system that's going to be coming on through. There's a front that's going to help use some of the heat and humidity to probably spark more severe weather. And this time, I think we'll have some stronger upper level winds. Remember, that's the key driver on why we don't have any severe weather today. But I think we'll have those efficient jet stream winds closer to Indiana, and that should help foster more of a severe environment. There is it's not technically a level yet, but we do have an early severe zone over us here, 4 or 5 days out. And so we don't have many details on it yet. There is a trend, though, it's coming a little bit earlier in some of the newer data, but you're probably going to see that go back and forth as we're still watching the system. It's just about to make landfall in California. And once it does, then we can sample a little bit better with some of our land observation sites, and we'll get some better information. But we do have some severe weather chances possibly coming up next week. It is severe weather season. At least we're not getting really severe weather today. I mean, could you get a severe thunderstorm warning? It's possible. And maybe a flash flood warning depending on where you are, where the biggest downpours are. But overall, mainly just garden variety, thunderstorms, rumbles of thunder, a little bit of rain at times. Not a terrible Friday, but watch out for some rain. And then throughout your weekend, cooler. If you like that 68, I think you'll love your Sunday. Saturday looks nice too, but chilly starting in the morning. I think you'll love your Sunday. And then we warm up big time, and it's Tuesday when those storm chances come in. I think the morning probably trending drier with thunderstorm chances in the evening. We're talking as a weather team right now. You know how we have our weather impact alert days. We will make a call here soon on whether we want to kind of light this thing red. Let folks know, hey, Tuesday's the day to watch. But already just kind of giving you a heads up, Tuesday is the day to watch. We'll have to see how severe it potentially is. So that's coming up next week. In the meantime, hopefully stay dry. Watch out for some downpours. Be ready for a lightning delay. Hopefully it doesn't happen where you live, but we'll have to see. Make sure you keep it here, keep it local. As always, we'll keep you advised.